£3,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. There's also a terrific £10,000 to spend on a Riviera travel holiday of a lifetime for two. So whether you fancy a cruise or an escorted tour, you'll have over 30 worldwide destinations to choose from.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB19, PO Box 8690, Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 27th of February. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome along to another night of non-stop breaking news for late edition. We're starting with this.
And huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised.
So the Prime Minister is now demanding that Sir Jim Ratcliffe apologise over that remark that Britain's being colonised by immigration. He's not apologising himself for any of the negatives that he's doing for this country. No. Just Jim's got to apologise for the word colonised. Also,
dare he criticise us? We weren't the ones stuffing government with hypocrites and paedophile apologists.
Yeah, talking of apologies, Labour's women are apparently accusing the Prime Minister of running a boys' club. There's a grapple going on over a second paedophile crisis that this government is embroiled in. But is the Prime Minister about to appoint the Queen of Woke to lead the civil service? Also,
I've questioned myself as to why did I go, what was I doing, and was it the right thing to do?
I think it's the chin for me that just makes that even worse, that clip. But anyway, police, there's two big lines on Andrew this evening. Police are investigating now links between Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Jeffrey Epstein, but the other story that is involving Andrew is that apparently, it's on the front of the Sun, that the King, the late Queen and Prince Philip apparently basically gave him the 12 million quid to pay to Virginia Giuffre, and he's not paid a single penny of it back. So there you go. Also,
the Brexit vote was a fair, democratic expression, and I will always respect that.
Now, there are fresh fears for Brexit because Labour is looking for even closer ties with the EU. It's all going off. Joining us this evening is the Director of Popular Conservatives, Mark Littlewood. We've got journalist Nina Mishkov and comedian Steve N. Allen. But let's get you over to your headlines now with Sam Francis.
Patrick, thank you, and a very good evening to you. Just after 11 o'clock, the top story tonight. The Prime Minister has said Manchester United co-owner Jim Ratcliffe should apologise after claiming the UK has been colonised by immigrants. Responding to the comments, Sir Keir Starmer said they were offensive and wrong, adding that Britain is a proud and tolerant, diverse country. Downing Street has also said the remarks, they say, play into the hands of those who want to divide our country, and called for an immediate apology. Sir Jim, the minority owner of Manchester United, made the comments in an interview discussing immigration and welfare policy. In other news, Thames Valley Police has confirmed it held discussions with specialist lawyers at the Crown Prosecution Service over allegations that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor shared confidential government reports with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The force says it is carrying out an ongoing assessment into potential misconduct in public office and is examining materials contained within the so-called Epstein files. No decision has been made on whether the full criminal investigation will be launched, but police say they are making progress as quickly as possible. Well, that comes as in the US, Attorney General Pam Bondi has repeatedly clashed tonight with Democrats during a 5-hour-long hearing over the Justice Department's approach to the Epstein investigation. Tensions boiled over as Bondi refused to apologise to Epstein survivors who had gathered in the room and branded the committee's top Democrat, Jamie Raskin, a washed-up loser lawyer.
Excuse me, I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the
theatrics are
question
ridiculous.
the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many of you...
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
And Dawson's Creek star James Van Der Beek has died at the age of 48. In a statement, his family said he passed away peacefully this morning following a battle with bowel cancer. They said he faced his final days with courage, with faith and grace, and they've asked for privacy as they grieve. Van Der Beek was, of course, best known for his role in the hit US teen drama Dawson's Creek, a series being celebrated tonight for defining a generation of television in the late 1990s. Those are the latest headlines. More from the newsroom, 9:30 tomorrow morning. Now, though, let's get straight back to Patrick.
Welcome along to Late Edition. Let's get you all of Thursday's newspaper front pages, starting with The Express. UK colonised by migrants, claims Manchester United chief. Well, look, this has caused a ridiculous amount of outrage. We're going to discuss all of this. Keir Starmer's called for him to apologise, which, maybe Keir Starmer could start by apologising for a few things himself. But The Guardian, select a female deputy to end the boys' club in number 10, the Prime Minister told. Is it just more kind of diggy-eye nonsense? Is it that the only requirement has to be that you don't have a penis? Or maybe you could have a penis but identify as a woman? Maybe that would be OK, according to Labour. The Metro, Jamie Dodger, 2 years skipping £3,600 worth of fares, but no jail. Well, obviously there's no deterrent here, but this bloke basically performed some kind of Olympic event, which was managing to relentlessly skip train barriers to the tune of £3,600 for 2 entire years before being caught. I mean, if it wasn't a crime, it'd be almost impressive. The Daily Mail, Labour women's fury over second paedophile crisis. Yeah. Was there this about the Pakistani rape gang scandal, though, OK, I get it. It's bad, good. Glad that Labour women are piping up over this. Fantastic. Were they this outraged when it looked like we weren't going to get a national inquiry into the Pakistani rape gang scandal? I'm not sure they were. The Sun. It's a royal exclusive. It's a big one, actually. Credit card they're going for there, and it's the late Queen, Prince Philip and King Charles apparently loaned Andrew 12 million quid for the Virginia Giuffre payoff. Slight problem, though, is that he hasn't paid back a penny on that loan. That's what they're claiming. We'll give you more detail on that. The Times. Prime Minister knew that his peerage pick had backed a sex offender. I mean, what a headline that is. The Mirror. Oh, they are clutching their pearls, aren't they, here? Shameful. Fury at Man United chief's UK colonised by immigrants rant. wasn't a rant. If you watch the clip, we'll play you the clip later on, it was not a rant. It was a very well-articulated point, by the way, that came after quite a lot of compliments for Keir Starmer. So there you go. Anyway, the Daily Telegraph, Labour up for closer ties with Europe. Well, great stuff. Right, joining us to discuss this evening, of course, is my wonderful panel. Let's go straight in with the Jim Ratcliffe comment, which is on a few front pages. But before we bring a front page up, let's just play you what he actually said. We've got a clip of it here.
And huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause... It'll cause... Well, yeah. The UK is being colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it? I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people.
You met recently with Nigel Farage, didn't you?
There's so much to unpack there. I like the way that the interview goes. So you've recently just had lunch with Nigel Farage. Oh, Nigel's poisoned you, hasn't he? You've been indoctrinated by Farage there. Probably. Probably. Come on. Can I just say though that he's putting his money where his mouth is, because he's just sacked a Portuguese bloke and instilled a bloke from Tyne Wear. So good lad, Jim. Not a hypocrite.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I'm really trying to get my head around what's caused such shameful...
It's the word colonised.
So let's just imagine that in a lengthy interview he had not alighted on that word, but he had instead said, I'm a bit worried there are some areas of the UK where very high levels of immigration have had an extraordinarily deleterious effect on the local community. Would the response to that from the Prime Minister be, fair point, well made?
Possibly.
Very unlikely, I think.
It is that word colonisation, because it implies it's being taken over. And we are not being taken over. It's like saying, if you go to the Dordogne in France, that
we have
British
sectarian candidates running for public office.
Well,
the Brits in the Dordogne aren't on benefits and, in some cases, singularly going for benefits, though.
And trying to run a local council in the interests of France, either. They're not trying to do that, either.
No.
Well, you could say that Spain the same thing. But colonisation is just such an emotive word, because we know what colonisation is. When we had an empire, we went out and colonised. We took over. They are not taking over.
Do you have to have an empire to colonise?
No.
No, you don't.
OK, so it's not just about... You can't have the taint of having an empire linked to the word colony.
No. I'm not a taint of it. I'm just going to use that as an example.
Well, yeah,
we
colonise. In the Venn diagram, in the set of all things that are linked to colonisation, only some of it is empire, so there must be some others. So, I bothered to Google it, because I didn't know the way. I'm not fancy with your words. So, verb to settle in a place to establish political control over it. So it's not about forming an empire or building, it's just about having political control. If you tick that box, you'd do it. I don't think that... Look, you can have the debate about whether colonise is the right word, but it is a distraction, isn't it? The flare's gone up, and instead of doing the debate, here's where I do get nerdy. There's a thing called Graham's hierarchy of arguments, of disagreement. And right at the top is disagreeing with the main thesis, and below it is finding a word that triggers you, not liking the tone, finding other reasons why your point would be invalid that aren't to do with the thing you've just said, all the way down to just insults at the bottom. And this is one of those things. You've said a word, we're triggered, I'm now so offended by the word colonise, I refuse to listen to the context.
Let's have a look at this.
But
this is important. Sorry, but this is important here. So, colonisation, right? Settlement, sending people from the mother country to live in a new territory. Well, that's unequivocally happening. Subjugation, establishing political and legal dominance over the local population, who often have fewer rights than their colonisers. Right, well, the government recently argued in court that the rights of asylum seekers trump the rights of locals, and also we are the Western capital for Sharia courts. So there is that. And then we've got exploitation, extracting natural resources and using local labour to benefit of the colonising nation. Well, there are huge numbers of Brits, some of whom, by the way, may obviously have heritage from different countries, don't get me wrong, who are now working very hard in order to subsidise the lives of other people who have just arrived to this country and are living on benefits.
Yeah, that's right. And this is exactly what Ratcliffe is pointing out. I'm with Steve here, that, all right, if you think he should have picked a different verb, OK, right? But what he's trying to point out is there is now a very large number of people often concentrated into specific areas, by the way, not equally dispersed across the United Kingdom. So there are a number of areas, I'm surmising what the point he's trying to get at here, which are failing economically and quite possibly culturally in virtue of a colossal influx of immigration. And we've witnessed this really for the first time at the last general election, at fairly modest levels, but I think it was 5 Gaza independents got elected to Parliament from nowhere. We're seeing more and more of it at a local council level. I think, keep your eyes on what's going to happen in Birmingham at local council level. This is not an outrageous thing to say. And I'm with Steve to say we're just not going to engage in this argument because of your particular use of adjective. Probably not the one I would have picked, but nevertheless, there is a wider point here. And the reaction of the government is close it down, shameful, the headline of the Daily Mirror. Not man with good point uses bad adjective.
Yeah, let's bring up the Mirror actually as well. Yeah, so the Mirror have gone for shameful. I mean, there is also Keir Starmer's tweet. Now he's back on X, isn't he? Back on X, and he's posted that Britain is a diverse country and that Jim should apologise.
Jim's saying he's a bit worried we're too diverse.
Well, Nina, go on. What do you think? So Starmer's taken the time out of his busy schedule, driving Britain into the ground, to say that Jim Ratcliffe should apologise for using the word colonise.
I think colonise is a very, very emotive word. And the trouble is that now anything to do with the word migrant or foreigners is being used as a tool and as a weapon. And, we don't want to drive people apart. We want to bring people together. And if you demonise migrants, if you demonise foreigners, anything that's...
So we should just keep paying for them then? We should just keep getting out of bed in the morning, working our backsides off, and then at the end of the month, you get your pay slip and you see that whatever percentage of that leaves, never touches you or your family's or your kids' hands, doesn't go towards a nice holiday that you might have earned, doesn't go towards paying your mortgage or your rent. It just goes to the millions of people who've come to this country and are living on benefits. And we shouldn't say anything about that.
It goes also to the 16 to 24-year-olds, a million of them.
I'll give them a rocket as well.
Two things could be wrong at the same time, can't they?
Yeah. Well,
both things could do with being fixed.
Absolutely,
yeah,
but I'm just saying it's not just.
But there is a conversation that could look at the material difference between tens of thousands and a million, which is kind of the numbers we're looking at. And that conversation never gets had because someone said colonise, someone said swarm, someone said influx. You can find a word that you don't like, and instead of going, look, I don't like that word, but the point where he was saying about how many people and the number of people on benefits, he also said, to give him his dues, this guy said that the UK needs a leader who is prepared to be unpopular. So at least he's happy about Starmer.
But the other thing about this, right, Nina, if it really is the view of the Prime Minister that we shouldn't use inflammatory language in debates and colonise is an inflammatory word, why at Prime Minister's questions today did he call Robert Jenrick a racist and criticise Kemi Badenoch for not having fired him when he was still a member of the Conservative Party? If touching any word that might be considered inflammatory is verboten, why is he calling Robert Jenrick a racist?
Why was it Robert Jenrick or was it?
It was Robert Jenrick.
No. Was it Robert Jenrick or was it not Robert Jenrick who went to an area and said there were too many white faces?
No,
there wasn't enough white faces.
He said he didn't see any white faces.
Sorry.
This makes Jenrick a racist, doesn't it?
That is a fairly racist remark in my mind. Yes, it is.
It might have been true of the room he was in or the bus he was on.
But he didn't mean it like that. I took it to mean that he said, this is not British enough, not British white enough.
Right, but however you took it, I thought your argument was we need to avoid inflammatory, over-pumped-up language. Yet here is the Prime Minister at the dispatch box calling Robert Jenrick a racist.
That's a fact.
It's a fact that Robert Jenrick's a racist.
But anybody who can make that sort of remark, in my eyes, is a racist.
Well, I mean, OK, this does seem to be one rule for one and one for another. If inflammatory language is best avoided. Robert Jenrick is not a racist.
How is that inflammatory? That may be an insult to Robert Jenrick.
And it's inflammatory.
But it's not inflammatory.
Okay, well, let's just have a think about, one of the reasons why colonisation, obviously, is such a difficult word for some people because, Britain, back in the day, we went on ships, didn't we? And we went across the sea and we then maybe invaded other countries as well. I don't know, do we have a clip here of anything? Oh, gosh, right, there you go. Just some lads on a boat heading into Britain illegally. I mean, is it colonisation?
The number of people coming here on boats is awful, but it is a drop in the ocean compared to the legal migration,
right?
As perpetrated under Boris, the Boris wave.
Yeah.
I mean that is so.
Is that a colonisation?
They couldn't colonise a beach hut.
Well, they literally have, Nina.
Well, maybe a beach hut.
They've gone beyond beach huts. Hotels are well within their reach.
Well, now
in the news and everything.
Now that
they've moved well beyond
army barracks, then. OK, I'll give you army barracks.
4-star hotels, I think, is more to their taste.
Anyway, I don't know. Look, I'll take your point. But I mean, look, I don't know. I find like, you know, that many people would think that is a colonisation. Right?
It's colonisation.
I suppose
they are not trying to take the country over. They're trying to find a place of safety where they can work and earn a living and pay taxes.
But the method of travelling across the water is not the definition of colonisation. But when you do see Green candidates and councillors winning and then shouting Allahu Akbar, you do think, well, wait a minute, is there a political change? You know,
no, I agree.
Greenpeace
I don't go that. I do not go that far.
The deputy leader of the Green Party, crying out loud.
Yeah, so that would be a definition of colonisation, which is not the scary big one that's to do with empire building, but would fit the definition, if you Google it, of the verb. Like, is there a move to try and get political power? And it's a debate to be had, but you should be allowed to ask the question without... People don't refute it by saying, no, here's why you're wrong. They say, that phrase is offensive and now you should not be allowed to talk.
Yeah. I think I might be the only person who heard that.
I think that's how I get away with them. I do them fast.
But anyway, right, so just to say, there's been another development on this story, which is that football charities Show Racism the Red Card, well, pipes up, haven't they? They've released the following statement. Show Racism the Red Card is deeply concerned by the comments Sir Jim Ratcliffe made, the co-owner of Manchester United. Language of this kind echoes narratives that have historically been used to stigmatise migrant communities, fuel division and legitimise hostility towards minority groups. Britain is a diverse society shaped by migration. Interesting that, because Britain didn't start in the 1950s, did it? When people say Britain was built on migration, what, did we just not have a... We were all just around wearing loincloths and struggling to make fire, were we, before the 1950s? Anyway, framing that diversity as colonisation is reinforcing harmful stereotypes and emboldening those who seek to divide rather than unite. Right, I want to take a sweepstake on this. How long do you think it's going to be before Jim Ratcliffe feels like he has to apologise?
Oh, yeah, he'll have done it by the end of the show.
Do you think?
Yeah, the pressure, there'll be an online... Well, already an online pile-on, it'll happen, yeah.
Do you think, or do you think he's so rich? I mean, by the way, so I'm going to say this, I'm not sure if it's true, but I'm going to say, don't panic, producers, nothing libelous. I heard a rumour before, I looked up in the break, but I heard a rumour before that apparently Jim Ratcliffe, his favourite pub was going to close down, so he just bought it. Yeah, so it's like, you know, so this guy's got so much money. I mean, does he feel the need to have to...
He's colonising pubs now. He's colonising pubs.
Well, some people are pointing online that he is, I think, a resident in Monaco as well, so they're saying, oh, you're colonising. It's like, do you want to come back to that? The idea that, what Torsten Bell, for example, when the jokes write themselves about him, but Torsten Bell is saying, oh, he's colonised Monaco, which is a tax haven. So, like, basically saying that he's doing the same thing. I mean, is that true?
No, well, look, I don't know exactly what Jim Ratcliffe does in Monaco, but as far as I'm aware, and until there is evidence to the contrary, I don't believe he's done anything to try and change the culture of Monaco. I think he's pretty simpatico with it. I don't know whether he's got a luxury yacht and drinks champagne from his balcony. I guess he does. Well, that's completely simpatico with the culture of Monaco. He's not trying to change it into something else, right?
It's a bit of Formula One.
Picking up the Show Racism the Red Card, all this sort of stuff. Look, the question at stake is this. Are there certain demographics or religious groups who are changing Britain, trying to change what Britain is, right? And are they doing so successfully? That's the debate. I hope Ratcliffe doesn't step back or apologise. If he does apologise, I hope that he clarifies, that he might say, actually, looking back on it, I can see colonisation probably wasn't the best word. Here, in a few hundred words, was what I was trying to communicate. But I'm worried that there are pockets or areas of the United Kingdom which are slipping away from being British in a whole range of ways.
Well, what do you mean by slipping away from being British?
Shouting out Alu Akbar when they've just won a local council seat, for example. Right? That's what I mean.
These are, I think, these are individual incidents, and it doesn't actually relate to the great majority of
Well, I think you can have a wider debate about, are we concerned, for example, that we didn't get to the bottom of the grooming gangs issue and still haven't, because there was an oversensitivity about policing different cultural norms in some areas of the country.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Well, OK. So there was some sort of change in behaviour around the treatment of young girls that we didn't deal with. Now, maybe you shouldn't call that a colonisation, but there seems to be a pattern of behaviour that was not simpatico with what we expect in this country, that we did not satisfactorily police. Is it OK to point that out?
Can we just be pragmatic about this? There are X number, and I don't know, million people who were not born in this country, who currently live in this country.
That's fine.
What is the optimum thing is that we all try to get on together, that we integrate.
Yeah,
this is not a kumbaya plea. Yeah. But seriously, we should be trying to get on together, working together.
How do you think that's going?
Exactly. And that's what we should aim for. But the more we have these sort of conversations and use language like that, the more there is division and there's less likely this is going to happen.
OK, all right, the burden is obviously all on us. But anyway, there we go. Coming up, fresh scandal for the artist formerly known as Prince Andrew, as police are now discussing Epstein leaks with the prosecutors. Also, apparently the Queen, late Queen, Prince Philip and King Charles loaned Andrew 12 million quid for the Virginia Giuffre payoff, and he hasn't paid them a penny back. Who'd have seen that one coming? Well, that's next.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Britain's Newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
Following 100-mile-an-hour winds, which knocked out power and left 28,000 customers across Cornwall without access to broadband services, that people are flocking to the phone box in Helford.
We're going to phone this phone box and see if anyone picks up. Now, the village of Helford, that 3-week storm, a lot of problems with connectivity, but the phone box we're calling now was a vital lifeline for so many in the area at the time. Phone is still ringing, and that's the beautiful...
Hello?
Hello there,
Hello.
You're live on GB News. Who is speaking?
Tony.
Say that again. Tony, hello.
Tony, do we reach you in Cornwall?
Hello. GB News, you say?
That's right. Hey, how's it going, Tony? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Great.
Do you live in Helford?
No, I don't live in Helford. I've been staying locally quite often.
And have you suffered from this broadband outage?
The whole phone call system down here has been, yes, we have done.
And when did you last use a phone box before today?
Before today, some time ago.
No.
I wasn't here, and where I was had mobile phone reception, whereas here, there is absolutely none.
Are you a fan of GB News? Because a lot of people staying connected to their communities, they've lost maybe their internet services. All they've got really is the telly and the phone box as well.
Yeah, the phone box here, when I first saw it, it all looked rather quaint, and I thought, oh, that's nice. And as I'm down here quite often, the amount I've seen this phone box used, even without the storms and the outages, people passing by with no phone signal at least can phone back and say they've had a problem with the ferry or they can't get to where they're going to be.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show Live, every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Two really big developing stories around Andrew, Mountbatten Windsor. We might as well go for the Sun first, I think, because it's more kind of salacious in a way. Royal exclusive, credit card. See what they did there? Queen Philip and King Charles loaned Andy 12 million quid for the Virginia Giuffre payoff. He hasn't paid a penny back, so it's not really a loan, is it, really? If he's not paid it back. Apparently, the late Queen is said to have stumped up 7 million quid for the 2022 settlement, with another £3 million coming from Prince Philip's estate, and some £1.5 million was then paid by the then Prince Charles, with the other royals also chipping in to stop Miss Giuffre's sexual abuse case. A source has said Andrew's not paid a penny back. Well, the other story for Andrew is actually, well, it's on the front of a couple, might as well bring up the Times. Police assessing Andrew's, quotes, leaks to Epstein. Police are now examining Andrew Mountbatten's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So that's there as well. There is also, on the front of the Daily Telegraph, I believe, as well, there is detectives and the Crown Prosecution Service are now in talks over Andrew. Well, Steve, reading between the lines, it doesn't look like the royal family's getting that 12 million quid back anytime soon, does it?
No. To be fair, though, so the 7 million from his mum would have just been inheritance eventually, so... But within the 7 years before her passing, so maybe we'll have a look at the tax situation there.
Interesting.
That's where I'm going in on this, because that's the rule, isn't it? Can't be a cash gift, although she called it a loan.
Yeah, aren't they all exempt from inheritance tax, the royals?
Yeah, they have to, yeah.
They don't
might be right. Yeah.
On it. Other than that, I'd found the strong angle on this story. The 1.5 million from our king. I mean, look, never a borrower or lender be, and also don't lend money to paedophile friends. You know, friends of paedophiles. I mean, it's probably a good clarification there, isn't it? But no, what do you expect? And also, he could sell some more biscuits and make that money back. So I'm not really. My heart doesn't bleed for them, is what I'm saying.
I can't imagine, can you, that they really thought he was credit-worthy to pay this back? I mean, what were they going to do? So, well, if you can't pay it back immediately, you kind of work it off, you know, mow the lawn, do the washing up, that kind of thing.
He doesn't even know that billionaire anymore.
They were not going to get this back.
They must have known, because he and Fergie were so extravagant and always in debt, so there's no way he could.
And I suspect he was lent at mates' rates. Let's put it that way, right?
Well, I mean, look. He only paid a peppercorn rent at Royal Lodge, and the trouble was, I mean, the Queen. I admire, adored the Queen. I missed her terribly. I wept buckets and all of that.
She had a blind spot.
However, this was her Achilles heel, and this is what produced Andrew the way he is, as you know, spoilt and thought he could do whatever he wanted.
Does slightly weaken the thing. So recently there's been reports about how morose Andrew is, and, you know, they've had to take his guns off him and all of this stuff, you know. But then you think, well, you know, if your family have stumped up 12 million quid for you, they do have a right to tell you to jog on out of Royal Lodge. I mean, you know, and then it turns out you weren't honest with them about everything as well, which is what we're led to believe.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think, I'm sorry, but I think, what more do you want from them? I'd say it's 12 million quid and your life as well, and your titles, and we'll back you despite the fact that it's emerging now that there was more of a relationship you ever let on. I mean, what does he expect?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that much sympathy, because all of the things that have happened to him have simply lowered him almost down to the status that we all live at. You poor thing, you no longer have titles, you don't have a free house. I mean, I don't have any relatives that could lend me that much money, and if they did, they'd want it back. So I still think he's doing better than I, and I've not done anywhere near as many of these wrong things that he's accused of.
Only half of them.
You've lied to Emily Maitlis. Yeah. I mean, on the more serious matter, other than the money, of course, if we do have a look, I mean, take your pick, really. I mean, the Telegraph, probably. Detectives investigating Lord Mandelson and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor over their links to Jeffrey Epstein have held talks with the Crown Prosecution Service. Now, we don't want to preempt anything that might come down the track here, but this is obviously quite a serious development.
Yeah, but I think what House of Windsor has done well here was they did eventually get ahead of the curve, if that makes sense. He is on his own here. The King has said they'll cooperate with any criminal prosecution were that to emerge, with any police investigation as it's ongoing. Stripped of all the titles. That was a big, big issue. Didn't salami slice it. You know, we're going to take away this title from you and then see what happens next and then maybe take another one. Totally done. He's now a private citizen, basically. OK, he's got richer friends and family than Steve, but he's basically a private citizen, and we should therefore let this take its course.
Still, worryingly, the 8th in line to the succession. So
yeah, but we're never going to get there, right?
No. But still, that's not right. And it's also still a member of the Privy Council. I think that's something else.
No, I don't know about that.
But the monarch can't act there. That would require the Prime Minister to act, right?
Right. But the point being that, you know, the House of Windsor moved too little, too late. I mean, they've known about this for years and years and years, and he wasn't reined in. We understand why the Queen protected him. But after that, they thought they didn't do anything until it all came to light.
But you may say too late, but it wasn't too little. They've now done everything they can do, basically. It may have been too late, but not too little.
And their balance would have been, if they'd have done this they decide to strip titles from a member of the royal family, it would have been the biggest news. Yeah. So they were clearly trying to work out, could we get away with not doing it? Otherwise, it's going to be a huge news story, or is the news story going to be too big if we don't do it?
And the thing is, they would still be getting away with it, and he would still be getting away with it if it wasn't for the letters. I mean, the trade envoy stuff, where he just within minutes of getting documentation, passed it on to Epstein. Yeah. I mean, outrage. It's unbelievable. When you think about it, we're not the only country. Norway has been involved in this. The Norwegian Crown Princess, somebody else, some politician in Slovakia or Slovenia. I'm sorry, I mixed them up.
No one knows.
Exactly.
One of the slurs.
Melania does. She's Slovene.
Well, we don't know.
Anyway, the French Minister for Health at some point, he's all embroiled.
Can I just say, thank God. We might be getting a raft of defamation cases here coming our way. So I'll just say that any of those really high-powered, wealthy foreign dignitaries that Nina's mentioned are not here to defend themselves. So we might park that one there. I think
we're right across the West. I think we should all say a very big thank you to the US Department of Justice.
Eventually.
That's what's put this information in the public domain, not British or Norwegian or Slovakian or Slovenian release of information, the Americans. Now, we'll have to let this take its course within a myriad of different legal circumstances. But imagine if the Americans had not put any of this in the public domain. We would not be having these arguments about the way the top brass in politics and royalty behaves in the United Kingdom. It's only thanks to the Americans releasing this material.
Yes, but the thing is, they've released it. They've only released 3 million. There are 6 million.
Only 3 million?
No,
well, no, there's more.
It's about half. It's only half.
Well, I mean, this is the thing.
And all the names of the men are redacted, whereas the victims, many of them are not there. The email addresses.
I did actually see.
And photographs, and some of them, their families had no idea.
Yes.
So the victims have
I still think if we've been sitting on this material, this sort of material here, I don't think the Justice Department in the Ministry of Justice in the UK would have put this in the public domain at all.
Well, look, let's see what happens with Andrew. Look, he has not been found guilty of anything. Neither is Mandelson, actually, and I'm not quite sure where both of them are at, but I think it's fair for me to say that they both deny any wrongdoing. So that's good enough for now, I think. Right, coming up, apparently Keir Starmer not content with having accusations levelled at him of being, a party of paedophile apologists and all of this stuff. Labour now apparently has a woman problem. So there's Labour women's fury as female MPs are urging the Prime Minister to appoint a female deputy to end this boys' club in number 10. So we'll talk about, does Starmer have a woman's problem? That's next.
Good evening, welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. A very dull day to come for many of us tomorrow. Some brighter weather here and there, but it will be much colder, particularly for northeastern areas. We're starting to get northerly winds, cold air pushing in from the north. Low pressure systems also bringing batches of rain along these weather fronts, and there will be some quite heavy rain across many southern areas through this evening, pushing into the southeast. That should clear by tomorrow morning, but behind it, a mess of cloud and outbreaks of drizzle drizzly rain, particularly across parts of Northern Ireland and northeastern areas of England, as well as eastern Scotland through this evening. Will turn a little bit dry, though, for the far north of Scotland. As a result, with some clearer skies around, it could be quite a chilly start to the day on Thursday. So outbreaks of rain for some areas through Thursday morning. The far north of Scotland getting away with a fairly dry day, though for Shetland and Orkney we've still got a risk of snow showers through Thursday morning. Northern Ireland seeing the worst of drizzly rain. It's quite light, but it will be persistent through much of the day, in fact. Cloudy skies for much of England. The far southwest seeing outbreaks of heavy showers into the morning, so a risk of some quite heavy rain and some quite brisk westerly winds. Still relatively mild out there across more southwestern areas to start the day on Thursday. Elsewhere, though, a chillier feel to come through the day. We've got these winds coming in from the North Sea across many eastern coasts. That's going to bring a chillier feel, and outbreaks of persistent rain for many northern areas of England and southern Scotland will bring a pretty dismal feel to the day. Across the southwest, though, still 10 or 11 degrees, but that's the last of the mild weather as cold weather becomes more dominant, at least for a time. A risk of snow and sleet. We do have snow and ice warnings in force until around lunchtime on Friday. There's a risk of icy surfaces and snow accumulating over the high ground. But there will be a break in the weather for Saturday, a day of sunshine to come. It won't last all that long, though, because the rain will return for Sunday.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Now, does Sir Keir Starmer have a woman problem? Well, that's the allegation that's being levelled at him. It's on the front of The Guardian. It's also on the front of the Daily Mail. Labour women's fury over second paedophile crisis. Well, there's that. They're questioning his judgment. They're saying he's running a boys' club. The Guardian are also saying select female deputy to end the boys' club in number 10. PM told. Nina, I think it would be unwise of me not to go to you first on this. What do you think about the idea that he's running a boys' club and he's got a woman problem?
I think he possibly is running a boys' club, or the boys' club is running him. Put it that way round. I don't necessarily think he has a woman problem. He was in his time in Chambers in early days. I mean, he was seen as kind of a great romantic hero. He modelled on, he's like Mr. Darcy, and so. I think Bridget...
Yeah, no, they did. Apparently, Mr. Darcy out of Bridget Jones is modelled on Keir Starmer.
Yeah, absolutely. And before he started going, getting wodgier and eating too much cheese and going grey, he was an attractive man.
Wow. Now, just interestingly, I want to talk about woman problem. If I'd said that about a woman, I'd be in all sorts of strife now, wouldn't I?
Would you?
I think so. If I said that until she started eating cheese and getting a bit podgy...
She was
quite an attractive. She was fit. I reckon I'd be some pushback. No, I'm not. I don't mind it. No, I don't mind it. Are you right?
That's rude of me.
He is a podgy little man who probably eats too much cheese. I don't mind, but I'm just saying, double standards, Nina.
It is double standards, and I'm being rather rude about him. But there you go.
Right. But this is the space for it.
I don't. I don't think personally he has a woman problem. People cite the fact that he either puts down or tries to put down Kemi Badenoch, or he's just superior to her. I would feel the same way about Kemi Badenoch. She's such a hypocrite. So I don't blame him if that's what he feels like doing to her. That's fine.
So Harriet Harman has said that one of the party's most senior figures, she is one of the party's most senior figures, urged Starmer to revive the role of First Secretary of State yesterday, a post previously occupied, actually, by Peter Mandelson under Gordon Brown. And then, presumably, she then goes on to say, appoint a woman to that role. Well, I suppose that would be doing something to tackle the unemployment crisis. They'd be creating one job, wouldn't it?
Yeah, small baby steps. I think it's not that Keir Starmer's got a woman problem, but Labour might have a woman problem. They've not done particularly well at getting wands of power anywhere near the top. But the idea of this boys' club, I don't know, the accusations about all this paedophile friend cover-up stuff, it's not what boys, you know, people say, oh, boys club, men, testosterone. What do men do when they get together? Cover up for paedophiles. That's what happens down the pub, isn't it?
Yeah,
all the time.
Non-stop, isn't it?
I'm not sure the boys' issue is the thing here. There might be a cultural issue. There might be a we went to the right schools issue, although this government's actually doing well with that. There might be some sort of I can't think of a better way of phrasing it than unconscious bias, but I know I've triggered some people because you don't like that as a
triggered me there, Steve.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? They're all of the same sort of mindset, and that's the problem, not that they're boys.
But, Steve, I think you're totally right here. And the bit that I can't... Some of the papers have merged these things together, right? There's might be a boys' club problem, and there might be a problem with, you know, giving jobs to the friends of paedophiles. But the idea that's the same problem is absolutely...
Yeah.
You would have thought it would be the boys' club who would be stepping forward saying, I'm not very happy with us looking like we're nonce adjacent here, right? I mean, that would be the sort of thing you'd say in a boys' club.
For the second show in a row, I now have to do something.
Play the pre-recorded apology.
So why do you need a woman?
Don't repeat the word. OK, right, just quickly, and we can all move on, shake hands and forget about it. There was a word that was said there that is remarkably on the Ofcom banned list.
Oh, God, is it?
It's all right. For which
we've all fallen
we apologise. OK, back to the matter in hand.
So the boys' club, I think, would shut this down big time. Now, it might be there is a separate boys' club testosterone issue. I mean, and, you know, no woman's ever become leader of the Labour Party. It's quite staggering, really. Whereas Kemi must be, what, fourth Conservative Party leader? But the idea that you actually need to pick somebody on a chromosome set, I think is pretty ludicrous. You just need people with sensible attitudes.
Yes, but it's a mindset. As a man, you can't understand. I come in here and it is basically men. It's basically male.
My producer is a woman.
I understand that, but my bit here is I'm surrounded by men, and you.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm not apologising. I like it. I like you all, but there can be a kind of pack mentality, not necessarily with you, but there is a pack mentality about men. Why do men like football? Because the football teams, the pack. Women don't like.
Well, I don't like football, so again...
No. I'm not saying every man likes football.
You need to become the first Secretary of State.
I'd have it. I'll do the job.
You can't see it. There's a sort of... There is this mentality where men somehow just bond together over...
Over what?
You point out a slight logical flaw in it, that we can't possibly understand what it's like to be you because we are not a woman.
Yeah.
But you speak as if you know exactly what men...
No, I'm saying with the effect you have.
OK, but you also do speak as if you know what men are like.
No.
But we can't know what women are like.
No, you know, sort of behaviour...
You would say, you're speaking about what men do and how men all love football because they like pack mentality.
That was a sort of loose example. I'm saying that, in general, men like team sports, women don't, on the whole.
I think the problems of this government go a bit deeper than the top people at number 10 all supporting Arsenal Football Club, right?
No, but I am not...
I just think with these Labour women now that are kicking off about this second paedophile crisis, right, I don't remember seeing headlines about Labour women annoyed over Pakistani rape scandal. Like, I don't remember seeing that. Like, when Keir Starmer was looking like... Well, he said it was, you know, part of a far-right bandwagon, it looked like Labour weren't going to actually have a national grooming gang inquiry and all of that stuff. I don't remember reading headlines. I'm willing to be corrected on this, but I don't remember reading headlines. Labour women's fury over Keir Starmer not doing national rape gang inquiry.
Because they're going to do local inquiries. That was the original intention. They were going to do local inquiries, and then Baroness Casey came along, and Keir Starmer appointed her to investigate the whole thing, and then she said, "Actually, we need a national."
But Patrick's point.
So then he went with it.
Don't you think Patrick's point is quite interesting? There, OK, you can get into an argument about what type of inquiry there might be, but the fact that this hasn't come to any form of resolution has been dragging on forever. There didn't seem to be the same sort of outrage about it. You know, well, when's the inquiry starting? When's it going to conclude? Get on with it.
Well, may I just point out Kemi Badenoch, when she was Equalities Minister, not a single word has she uttered in the House of Commons during her time, when she was supposed to be looking after women,
so
children.
having a woman won't solve it, because I think Kemi is one.
OK. Well, look, talking of woman problems, OK, it's all going on at NATO because our top ambassador has been told to stop bonking in his plush official residence, but apparently we've sent him to Italy. So, Steve?
When in Rome.
When in Rome. All of that next.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Still plenty of unsettled weather throughout the Mediterranean, particularly windy in Corsica, Sardinia, Sicily, and it's going to be a wet one for parts of France as well as Greece. But finally, for much of Iberia at the moment, it is drier and sunnier compared with recent weather, aside from the far south of Spain and Gibraltar. Here, we've got a lot of unsettled weather moving through Corsica, Sardinia, Sicily, parts of Italy, some heavy rain. That pushes into Croatia and Greece next few days.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very easy tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Welcome back. The Sun newspaper have an absolute cracker of a story. Britain's ambassador to NATO has been asked to stop romping in the official residence with an Italian lover almost half his age. Colleagues raised concerns after Ambassador Angus Lapsley, 55, started a relationship with an intern he met at NATO headquarters. The dad of 2 struck up a romance with his assistant, Francesca Cortini, 29. Lapsley is entitled to use the lavish British residence, a converted 5-storey hotel, which overlooks Brussels Royal Park. But unusually, he shares the residence with two other British ambassadors, the ambassador to Belgium and the ambassador to the EU. Now, The Sun understands that senior diplomats raised concerns with the Foreign Office that the relationship was quite inappropriate. The Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office spokesperson has said it is long-standing policy not to comment on personal matters. But, Mark, there's more than meets the eye to, you know, the old bonkathon that's going on here, isn't
Yeah, I mean, words fail me. This is from GB News' very own Stephen Eddington. Bit more backstory to this, so put aside the bonking. This chap, Angus Lapsley, left top-secret NATO documents in 2021 at a bus stop.
What was he doing on
the
the bus?
documents pertain to deployments in Afghanistan and the Royal Navy's movements in the Black Sea, says Stephen. Instead of facing prosecution, he was then promoted to be the UK ambassador to NATO. Now he's sparked a diplomatic row. Although I don't quite understand why in these missives we're being told that his romantic partner here is nearly half his age, or almost half his age.
There we go.
Surely she's just less than half his age, right?
Yeah, she's 29,
nearly there, almost half his age.
She's well over half his age.
She's 55. She's 29.
No, but I think it was when the relationship started, right? So if you do the basic maths, not 5 years off each for sake of argument, and you've got 50 and 24.
But who has dobbed him in?
Well, he shares it with two other ambassadors who might not be getting it.
Or anybody who walks around Brussels Royal Park, you'd think.
Or anybody, left the curtains drawn and anyway. I mean, I suppose so. This is so. I mean, I feel slightly ago. I mean, if by Mark's maths he's been with this woman for 5 years, then that's just a relationship, isn't it? That's okay. I mean, I wouldn't say there's anything inappropriate with that. So it's slightly odd he's been urged to stop bonking, but I mean, it's more the fact that this guy's got a job at all, by the sounds of it.
Yes, I suppose. It's also the fact that they have to share it with other ambassadors, and probably they rock up there and half their Ferrero Rocher's gone. What's been happening here? Pants all over the place. Use a hotel. I feel like I can solve that problem for him. Go to a hotel. If he's only been told not to bonk in the residence, isn't it? They're not saying this relation. I don't know why they call this relationship inappropriate, though. I mean, it seems.
Well, I suppose.
Well, he now lives with her. He lives with her, according to the report in the Times.
People might point to the idea of the power dynamics between himself and him meeting her when when she was an intern at NATO or something. But again, like,
hang on, I'm going to defend this guy now, right? So she's no longer working for him. And so, why are we being so morally prurient about
this? And it's in Italy. Well, let's be honest. They get it on.
And 5 years down the track, that's not taking advantage of a junior, staff member.
But I'm in the boys' club, so I need to properly understand her side of the story.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, right. Well, I think that's done nearly. So there we go. I mean, just a remarkable story. I mean, there'll be whatever the fallout of that is. I mean, the fact. He's not doing anything illegal. He's probably been with her for quite a while. And, I mean, if he lives there, where else is he supposed to bonker?
But what is it married?
Just go to the park.
But married, father of two. Where
I don't know if he's married. I don't know. No, I don't think he's a father of two.
Oh, right, OK.
Right.
So, yeah, anyway, right, whatever. But look, he's not here to defend himself. I don't think he... the facts, as I understand them, which may well turn out to be different, I don't know if he's got that much to defend himself against, personally speaking, just in terms of that. But obviously the point is that I don't think he should necessarily have a job at all, given that he apparently left state secrets at a bus stop. So... the biggest thing about that was, why is he taking the bus?
I object to our taking the bus.
Bus stop.
God's sake.
No, should have left them in...
But you left in a chauffeur-driven car.
Thank you. That's much better.
Yeah, leave it... Well,
he uses buses and he still pulls a woman half his age. How does he manage that?
A man of people, mate. A man of the people. Right, sorry, we're being told to end this, and thank goodness for that. Let's round up the front pages then. Daily Express, UK colonised by migrants, claims Manchester United chief. The Guardian selects a female deputy to end the boys' club in number 10, the Prime Minister's been told. The Metro, Jamie Dodger, 2 years, skipping £3,600 worth of fares, but no jail time for a man who did that. The Daily Mail, Labour's women's fury over second paedophile crisis. The Sun, royal exclusive, credit card, Queen, Philip and Charles loaned Andy 12 million for Ginger for a payoff, and he's not paid them back a penny, apparently. The Times, PM knew his peerage pick had backed a sex offender. The Mirror, shameful, fury at Man United's chief, UK colonised by immigrants rant. And The Telegraph, Labour up for closer ties with Europe. Maybe they should get that Italian ambassador on the job. He's all over closer ties with Europe. Anyway, right, thank you to our wonderful panel. Thank you to anyone who suffered through that. Let's take you now to America for The Late Show Live with our very own Bev Turner.
Thank you, Patrick. At the moment, I'm the only person in the studio. The traffic has come... It's at a standstill, the city, tonight, because Netanyahu is in town. We're going to be talking about that. We've got an amazing show tonight. Morris Glassman right at the top. We've got the State Department here to talk about all sorts of issues, the Munich Security Conference and also Chagos. I'm also going to be talking to Lionel Shriver, who wrote this. That picture, migrants in the water. Don't miss it.
You could win cash and the ultimate holiday in our two-part Great British giveaway. Thanks to Riviera Travel, you could be jetting off on a £10,000 dream holiday for 2 people. With flights, transfers and luxury accommodation included, you'll get to choose the kind of holiday you want. Plus, we're going to give you £30,000 in tax-free cash.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message.